Dear viewers, welcome back to my channel. In the month of June last year, I sold my Honda Brio to one of the leading companies which deal with second-hand sales and purchase of the car in India. You can either choose from Cars24, Car Dekho or Spinny. In the video, I have shared my experience about dealing with all the three companies and why I ultimately ended up choosing Spinny as my preferred company to sell my car. You can go and check out that video, link of which is being popped up right here as I speak. The video in question garnered a lot of views and also a lot of questions. Many of the viewers who happened to watch the video had genuine concerns about selling their car or purchasing a second-hand car, both of which are very important in today's second-hand sales market. So I received a lot of questions inquiring about the process of selling your car to a second-hand user or to one of these companies which I have mentioned, and also what are the points that you should keep in mind while purchasing a second-hand car. To those of you who are new to the channel, I have also made a video about my purchase of a 2012 Maruti Ertiga and why I went for an Ertiga and basically what did I benefit out of it. You can definitely go and check that video. Again, it is in the pop-up as I speak. So without much delay, let's get into the process of selling your car in a second-hand market and buying a car from a second-hand market. If you happen to like the content that is being provided by this channel, please go ahead and subscribe and also like the channel, because those are the things which would act as an encouragement for me to make more and more videos about my experiences in generally various aspects of life. Coming to the selling your car. So if you have a car which you would like to sell in a second-hand market, there can be two scenarios. Either you can sell it to one of the second-hand companies, in which the process would be fairly simple, because these companies take adequate care and they have streamlined the process of purchasing a car from you. So you don't really have to worry about a lot of things here. Like when I decided to sell my car to Spinny, I basically contacted them. They come, they inspect your car, they give you a quotation. If you're happy with the quote, you can straight away go and sell your car to them. They ensure that all the documentation is done before the car is duly delivered to them, which I think is a very good thing, because like I've explained, these companies ensure that the process of transfer of ownership is pretty hassle-free, which is very good if you ask me. The only downside of this thing is that the price that they will quote is definitely lower than what you would fetch on a second-hand market, because they themselves will have to earn bucks on the car that I have purchased from you. So let's say if your car is worth 4.6 lakhs in a second-hand market, they would give you somewhere around 3.8 to 4 or maybe 4.2 lakhs if you are very good in negotiations. But overall, if you want to have a hassle-free experience of selling your car, I would highly recommend to sell your car to either of these established second-hand seller and buyers of the car. Now, the second scenario would be selling it to a person, somebody whom you don't know, somebody who approached you maybe by looking at your ad that you have posted in OLX or any of the second-hand sale markets or websites. So here is where the situation becomes tricky. Now, just the delivery of money from the person to your account doesn't signify that you have sold your car. So you have to ensure that the due process is followed in order to have a stress-free time after selling your car. Here the question comes about the two major forms that any RTO in any of the states in our country asks for. That is form number 29 and form number 30. So you ensure that form number 29 and form number 30 are duly signed, duly filled, and you hand them over to the person whom you are selling the car, and ensure that the process of transfer happens without any delay. So what I would suggest here is, let's say you do end up with a figure that you want out of your car. You forego 3 to 4,000 if required, or negotiate with the buyer that you will share 50% of the registration charges. By doing so, what happens is that you will have a command of the process of transfer of ownership, which is very, very important. Because if the person takes the car from you, he gives in undertaking that he has taken the car from you. You have the copies of form 29, you have the copies of form 30, but even then, proving your innocence in case of an accident becomes quite hectic and quite troublesome. Therefore, what I would suggest is, get the form 29 and 30, sign it, get it signed from the prospective buyer. Once the money transfer happens, go ahead and file for the ownership transfer on your own. By doing so, you will have a stress-free after sale life. This is very, very important. Now, and also what I would request you is, do keep the Aadhaar card, the PAN card, or whatever documents that the prospective seller is providing it to you for a fairly good amount of time. Now, coming to buying the car, this is very, very important for you. This is very, very important for a person who is in the second-hand market to buy a car, because what happens is, when you go and look for a brand new car from a showroom, you have a warranty on the car. So basically, if anything goes wrong with the car, the manufacturer is responsible for it for a given period of time. That may be 2 years or 5 years, however the company gives it to you. But if you are in the second-hand market, most of the cars that are there in the second-hand market would have completed their period of warranty. So while purchasing a car, there are a few things which you have to keep in mind before committing yourself to go ahead and purchase the car. You could approach your neighboring car mechanic, have a word with him, convince him to go with you to inspect the car. Maybe you could spend 1,000 or 2,000 as his fee. Doing so, what happens really is that the mechanic is sharing his expertise in the car with you. So when you get a nod ahead, when you get a go ahead from him, you can be more sure, you can be more confident about taking the next step of purchasing the car. The other thing is, whoever is a manufacturer, it could be a Honda, it could be Hyundai, it could be Maruti Suzuki or any other brand, please make sure that you get the history of the servicing of that particular car. The service history is very important for the car, because the service history will act as an evidence to show that the current owner of the car has taken due care and has taken due diligence in maintaining the car, so that you don't end up with a problem after you purchase the car from him. If you come across anybody who is offering you a car which has a faulty or wherein he has missed a lot of services, please make sure that that could be like a red flag for me personally, because I would not be sure about purchasing the car. So once you have a mechanic who has given a go ahead, then you have verified the car, you have verified the servicing intervals of the car, you have verified the service book of the car, and you are amply sure that the car has been maintained as per the prescriptions. This would be your second tick mark. The third tick mark, which I would personally would like to have, is that when you are purchasing a car, you can speak to the buyer, you can speak to the seller and ask him to give his car for an inspection in the authorized dealership, and saying that you would bear the price of the car, you would bear the price of the charges that the authorized dealer would do. Mostly people will not agree to it, but if there is a certain person, if there is a genuine person who genuinely wants to sell his car to somebody who genuinely wants it, he would not mind doing so. For example, I remember I had seen a Honda Mobilio in Bangalore. It was put on sale, and I insisted that the owner gives the car to the Honda showroom. I would bear the entire price. It would cost around 8,000 or maybe 5,000 to get it inspected. But having spent this money, if the report comes fairly good, you have done yourself a favor. But the result is not that good, then you would have saved lakhs of rupees because of this. So this is what I would do and what I have done basically before purchasing a car. And now coming to the paperwork, what you would be needing at the time of purchasing a car from a second-hand dealer. Again, if you purchase a car from one of these companies, the top 3 or 4 companies which are into second-hand sale market, the process will be more or less hassle-free, because they will ensure that the documentation is properly done. But if you are purchasing it from directly from the owner, then here are the things which you should keep in mind. Form number 20 and form number 30. Obviously, you require these two for ownership transfer. Coming to the third and the most important is, sometimes or mostly rather, what happens is these cars are bought by taking loans from any of the banks, any of the nationalized or private banks in India. So in this case, you have a hypothecation of the vehicle to the particular branch. So if you are a buyer, then please make sure that you check the RC card properly. The RC would show hypothecation information. If there is no hypothecation, there is nothing to be worried about. But if there is hypothecation, and mostly what happens is the current owners of the car would have paid back the loan, but because of the lack of time or lack of concern from their end, they do not get this hypothecated removed. So this would be a roadblock if you go ahead and purchase a car and then go for registration. because then that would be your headache to get the hypothecation removed, and which is not easy. I mean, if you are a third person to the contract. So please make sure that you check for the hypothecation, and if the car is hypothecated, please request the current owner to get an NOC from the branch, and ensure that the NOC has been taken immediately after you come to a deal, because most of the RTOs in India, they insist that the NOC should not be older than 3 months or 6 months. That depends on state to state. So you have your NOC now. Also insist on getting Form 35, that is the transfer of hypothecation, signed from the financer. It could be any of the branches from which the loan has been taken. So Form 29, Form 30, Form 35, and then your NOC. So this will complete the process of buying the car. So if you have all the documents which I have mentioned, then you can go ahead and get the ownership transferred on your name. Another important thing which most of us don't realize at the time of purchasing a vehicle is the insurance. So what really happens is, usually the cars that are sold have insurance with them. If you come across a car which is not insured at the time of purchasing, that would again be a red flag. I would not recommend you to go ahead and buy the car. But if it has an ongoing insurance, then you can actually get the insurance transferred on your name. It's fairly simple. I've got it done. That's why this is something which could save you thousands of rupees. Trust me. So let's take a scenario. I want to sell my car which is under insurance. Let's say it has 6 months or 8 months of insurance cover from the date of selling the car. So what you need to do is you need to request the owner to send a mail to one of the to the insurer which have insured his car. By doing so, he would give the details of the buyer, that would be you. For example, if you are purchasing it from me, I would send a mail to the insurance company saying that I'm selling my car. Here is the RC which has been transferred. You need to have the RC transferred to your name before going to the transfer of insurance. So it could be your virtual RC also. So once you your name comes into the RC, you can request the ex-owner of the car to send a mail describing that the car has been sold to you. He would submit details of you, the buyer, about your phone number, your email ID, your nominee, whom are you nominating for the insurance, and other things. Once this is done, you will get a mail from the company to which the mail was sent. So for example, if I send the mail to Echo, they would contact you, they would give you a payment link. Here you will not be entitled to get the no claim bonuses that I have enjoyed. So whatever NCB rebate that I got will not be transferred to you. So you need to pay that NCB claim, which will not be very high. It may be in the range of 1,500 or 2,000, or maybe even lesser or slightly more. But the advantage of getting insurance transfer here is that you save a lot of money for the insurance. If for example, for a 10-year-old car, if I were to go and get insurance cover, it would cost me somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 rupees. Instead, if I could get the insurance cover transferred from the ex-owner to my name, I ended up paying around 1,500. So you can see that I have saved considerable amount of time and money. And not just this, since you are getting the insurance transferred from an ex-owner, your vehicle will not be subjected to any inspections. Sounds good enough, right? So this is one step which we often tend to miss. I hope my video was helpful to you. I hope I was able to clear a few doubts that you might harbor in your brain. But if you have any more doubts or any more queries, please message me in the box. I will reply immediately. I do not take a lot of time to reply. And if I don't know something, I will not give you wrong information. I will just say, Bhaiya, I don't know the information. Please ask somebody who might guide you properly in a right direction. Thanks a lot for watching the video, and I'll meet you next time. In the next video, I'm going to actually share about my experience of owning a 10-year-old car and what are the changes that I've made to the car, and should you rather go for a new car or an old car or a second-hand car. So stick around, wait for the next video. Until then, take care of your health and be happy as always. Signing off.